What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. Today with me, we got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
We got my brother B.
That's my Joker interpretation.
That's the Jared Leto right there.
That's the Jared Leto.
Honka. We got our boy Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yes. Yeah, there's another one. That's a good laugh. And why is his mouth always open? He's always like this. He's just a weird look, man.
This guy's got a deviated septum. He's only breathing out of his mouth. Like, Batman hit him in the nose too many times.
He got sleep apnea. That's why he's mad.
Sleep apnea affects millions of Americans, and it's no lap nut.
Oh man, you guys hear us already, man. Ready to go. Today we're only talking about two subject matters because that's the big stuff from this week. We're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. The 4-hour-long epic will not be released episodically, just one shot, 4 hours. Didn't plan for that.
It flew by. It
was amazing. And we're also going to give you a recap of Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1. But let's get into what came out first this week. Last Thursday, Zack Snyder's finally Justice League cut of his movie came out last Thursday. And man, 4 hours of absolute Zack Snyder's image, what he wanted to put out there. Let's go to Al first, man. Al, what did you think when you saw finally Zack Snyder's cut?
I made me wonder what the hell they did even releasing that first one, kid. Because didn't they I think what they had was 80% of this or something. Like they had the majority of this. Wait.
Films. Yeah.
I would wait and release this than release what they released. I hope whoever made that decision is no longer with the company, because I would have waited, let him resolve. We all know that there was a tragedy that caused him to have to disconnect from the project.
Right.
Let him go through that situation, deal with that, and come back and finish the 20%. Why compared to what they released is night and day. It's like we all wondered how much of a different movie could it be. It was a completely different movie, even though there were a lot of similar scenes, and it was a completely different movie. And it was interesting the fact that they did it 4:3 instead of 16:9.
Yeah, so, get the wider view up and top, lower.
Yeah,
I thought that my TV was broken. I was like, what are these fucking black bars on the side? I'm getting mad.
Yeah. I just wonder what the look he was going for with the 4:3, because it's not really IMAX. Like they're trying to say, oh, it was because of the IMAX ratio, but
nah. IMAX ratio is widescreen as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know.
16:9.
Yeah. Sanj, man, what's your overall thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League there?
Oh my gosh, I agree with Al completely. Like, they had no business releasing that other movie. And I really hope whoever decided to do that is not with the company anymore either. Like, I'm just gonna parrot what Al's saying. But no, it totally different movie, totally different feel to overall. It's just so much better.
Yeah.
Than what they put out there. We'll get into the specifics as we talk, but I love how they went into each character a little bit more, gave everybody their screen time, gave everybody their due, got rid of the dumb jokes.
Yeah.
That really didn't fit.
Big one.
That really didn't fit in there. But yeah, man, it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it was a 4-hour movie, but I still wanted to sit through the 4 hours. Like, I was very much enjoying I enjoyed the entire ride.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. And I have to agree with you with the jokes. A lot of the funny stuff, the jokes, it was funny a little bit in the theaters, but when you watch this tone and you watch the way that this one was done, you don't miss the jokes because it's a serious movie. It's following the trajectory of Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and now it's Justice League. So you can kind of see, I mean, especially now seeing this one, you see what Joss Whedon did. He tried to make it the Avengers. You know, he tried to make those jokes in there with Batman and Superman, also with Flash and Cyborg. And I gotta say, they really shortchanged Cyborg in the first movie, and that's something that I thought was completely fleshed out. If not, everybody was fleshed out a little bit more. Everybody had a reason for what they did and why they did it. I mean, I was just completely floored by what I saw. I thought it was amazing. Brandon, how about you, man? What's your overall thoughts on there?
My overall thoughts is I'm upset I saw the first one. You know, it's like
and we paid for that. We paid for that.
We paid full price.
Yeah.
We didn't pay 80% of the ticket price. You know, like, so I think, you know, it's crazy to think that in watching this, you saw a lot of, even though it's a cliffhanger, you know, in the ending, and you know what the plans were for the second and third movie, but there was a lot of resolution to a lot of the characters that never happened in the first one. Like you said, Sanj, you know, in terms of Cyborg's story, like Cyborg had a story. Like it wasn't just, hey, I'm a cyborg, hey Diana, I'm in the woods. Hey Diana, I'm now working with you. Like, no, there's a whole thing leading up to that. And you know, it hit me the most that was missing because it was so integral. And I thought back to the original Justice League and I'm like, Cyborg didn't do anything. Like I was like, he didn't do anything. But this movie was like Cyborg's movie. And to be really truthful to comic lore, this typical storyline is Cyborg's storyline. So for him to get so shortchanged the way he did in the original, it's crazy. Like I love this so much more because he got a chance to be a star of the Justice League. He actually got to be a part. He wasn't a B-lister. Like he was a part of the Justice League.
None of them were B-listers in this movie, man. They were all their own ensemble kind of thing. It really wasn't that.
And it
Batman.
worked. You know, my fear of going into this one was my same fear with the extended cut of Batman vs Superman, was that 4 hours was going to feel very long and we weren't going to get a lot out of it. Like, you know, I remember watching that with you, Hav, I believe, the extended edition of the BBS. And it was just explaining the guy in the wheelchair who blew up. Like, that was the majority of the story that explained. I'm like, all right, well, holes got filled and I understand the story a bit more. Yeah. This one, I had the same kind of worry that it was going to be 4 hours of awesomeness, but just things that weren't so important. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Everything.
Yeah, and I think one of our listeners and also basically a fifth member of the team is Mahendra out there.
Big Mo.
Big Mo sent us an email just basically saying everything is better, period. Just everything. The email was everything's better. Snyder's Cut.
He was texting me while he was watching it. He was only halfway through the movie when he started texting me, and he was like, if the movie ended right now, it'd still be so much better than the first one. And they were only halfway through.
Absolutely.
He's like, everything is better.
And I think Al called it the most because I started watching it a little late, and I said, you know, I might start it now and end it later on. And Al's like, you're not doing that. You're gonna finish that whole thing.
Oh yeah, good.
And go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even when they paused to give the name of the next section, I was like, why you stop? Like I just wanted it to go to the next scene. Like
I was like, nah. For me, I was like, all right, cool. I can pee.
Yeah, man, very good, man. But I mean, let's completely be honest though. With this being a 4-hour movie, there is no way if they had released this in the theaters would they have kept it at 4 hours. You know, so they would have definitely chopped up some things on this movie to keep it at 2.5 tops 3 hours. And it's just like, I don't know. It's a fight for extending movie times and giving maybe the audience a break in the middle or something for them to go to use the bathroom, get some food, or do something. Because, like Brandon was just saying regarding Batman versus Superman, they added in 30 minutes of story as kind of like explaining why Lex Luthor did what he did to Superman. Also, how they worked out that plan with Superman to show you why Superman didn't like Batman and Batman didn't like Superman. It was more explained. So even though Batman v Superman,
so more of the manipulation of the two characters by Lex Luthor to understand how they go from just being like, you know, he's a superhero in his town, he's a superhero in his town, to being like, all right, we need to fight each other and like stop each other.
Exactly.
You know, that happened way too quickly in the original Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, and in this one here with the Snyder Cut, I mean, you got the full on story of Flash before we get the Flash coming into with Batman, that whole meeting up, and even everything that happened with like Wonder Woman and her story and how she got involved. I think the biggest part that was like awesome about this thing was Batman, his reasoning for wanting to form the Justice League, his drive to form the Justice League. You know, it was a completely different person from Batman versus Superman because what he witnessed in the, on Superman dying for the cause. You know what I mean? It's just incredible, man. So let's just go ahead around the table. I mean, Sanj, Batman's one of your favorites. It's one of all of our favorites. But what was your take on how Batman's role was in the movie, trying to get Arthur Curry, working with Wonder Woman, even more dialogue with the butler. I can't forget the name.
Alfred.
I know it's like a Batman sin right there. Forget that. But what was your take on the characters, man? I mean, all the characters had a better story.
This Batman made a lot more sense. The way he was. He wasn't super powered. The way it felt like he was in Joss Whedon's version, or even kind of in Batman versus Superman, because he went toe to toe with Superman and basically won for some of it, right? Like, Superman could still get the best of him at any time, but you get the feeling in this movie that Batman, he's an administrator of the Justice League, and everybody else is so much more powerful than he is, but he's the guy tying it all together. And you get, for me anyways, this was the first movie or DC movie where I really appreciated Superman. And it was because of Batman and how the story put Batman in this place where he is recognizing, I need Superman. We need Superman. Like like we need Superman. And that really came from Batman.
Even how they came to try to come up with the idea for reviving Superman was completely different in this movie.
Yeah.
It was the same scenes, but the wording, the conversation that dealt around it, how they even came up to it, dealt with how Cyborg came up with his thing. Just a lot of stuff there. B, tell me about your thoughts on like Flash and Cyborg being in this version, because in this version they were a little bit more serious. In the first Joss Whedon one, they were a little bit more jokey, jokes around. Even when they were digging up Superman, they were joking around more. This one was a little more serious.
I feel like it called for it. It was very out of place in the original movie, just because like it didn't seem like there was chemistry enough for people to joke around so much. Like, you can tell it was put in there to make the audience laugh, but it didn't feel appropriate. Like, it didn't fit how they were portraying the roles. It didn't fit. So to have them be more serious, actually show conviction for why each of them are so resolute in their beings of wanting to be superheroes and being on this team, like, it made more sense. You can see the chemistry building between every single one of the characters, from the Flash to, and how he built his chemistry with Aquaman over the course of this movie, where you didn't see that at all in the last movie. Like, everyone had their chance to kind of talk with each other and come together. And whether they weren't best friends, they weren't super friends, but they got the chance to build chemistry with each other, and that's all that was needed and was missing from the original. Like, to be honest, Batman was the only one who talked to all of them in the last movie.
Absolutely,
so
man.
For them to all get the chance to actually talk to each other, it was great.
Yeah, man. And then Al, for you, man, I mean, Superman is a big deal for you, and I know that's one of your favorite characters of all time there, as far as like comic book heroes. If anybody got less screen time, it was actually Superman. But there was a reason for it, right? Because he died in Batman versus Superman. When he gets resurrected, they kept that scene at least. I know Sanj definitely wanted that scene with Flash and Superman, so we got that still. But he didn't come around till towards the end of the movie, where he finally like remembered who he was and gained his confidence back. What did you think of Superman being in the movie the way he was?
There was a lot about it that I liked. I liked the way they brought it around. That he was maniacal, if that's the word. I know.
Maniacal.
Maniacal. Because like think about it, like what would somebody that just came back from being dead be like? Like so he was, that he was disoriented, he didn't know who to trust, who to go, who was on his side. That I like that they didn't include that scene with him and Batman where he goes, "You won't let me live, you won't let me die." Like as much as I liked the line in the first one, it would have seemed out of place in this one. Um, the fact that they didn't do the whole Lois is the key, they didn't drag that out. Like
Yes.
they brought it in because there's with the ending, we now know that there's two ways that she's the key, that she could have been the key, depending on how you look at it.
Mhm.
There's some subtleties about what they were looking for to do with Superman in the future,
Mhm.
and you didn't even need him in the scene to do it. So there was that scene in Lois's apartment. There was a scene with the farm at the end when they get it back.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of little cues, but I also like that they didn't make him overpowered. Like in the first one, Superman comes in and he's like, "Oh, this guy's still bothering you." Punches him, flies over here, takes a whole
Yeah.
building. Here it was he obviously was the stronger. Like you felt like Steppenwolf would have eventually taken all of them, but
Mhm.
together without Superman, they were somewhat holding their own. He just put them over the edge. It
Yeah.
was like the first one made it sound like he didn't need anybody in order to
Right.
take out Steppenwolf and everybody. Here, you felt the team was taking on. Like Iron Man, Aquaman was holding his own. Wonder Woman was definitely holding her own. The Flash
Mhm.
was helping Batman by incorporating the Kryptonian technology, was able to absorb. Like it made you understand how he was able to stay in the fight.
Yeah.
So they did a great job, and especially with I don't know if you'll touch on this later, but the depth that they gave to Cyborg and explaining him
Yeah.
was the one thing I wanted from this movie, and I'm glad they gave it to us. Why was he so angry? Why was he
Mhm.
so frustrated? And you see that. You see what happened when he became Cyborg, who
Yeah.
he lost, what he went through with the father, why he was so angry with the father. Like that all gets answered now. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it was just, yeah, kid, I mean, it was 4 hours, but it felt like less time than
Man,
some
because
of
it was a
these
good.
hour and a half movies that I've watched.
Were you doing this?
Yeah,
Jeez.
we're like, shit, this movie is still on? Like, come on. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. And I'll be, man, out of the scenes that we got in this one, there was a lot of stuff that was added on by Joss Whedon, as you can see, because there was things to taken out. You got that intro with Batman talking about how he was like hanging somebody off of a ledge of a building to make them have fear so he can catch a parademon. We don't have the parademons leaving boxes in neon against the wall. We don't have Superman fake mustache.
Yeah.
We don't got that. But there was a lot of things that they took out, man. But there's a lot of stuff that we didn't see from the original cut there. So why don't we go into that the scene that I kind of like with Darkseid, him showing up that first battle that they had on Earth with Darkseid coming down. I mean, how did you find Darkseid in the movie? Because that's something we didn't get in the first one.
I originally thought in the first battle that he was a punk bitch. Like, yo, he took that axe way too hard.
Should have gone for the head.
Like we got hit with that axe. I'm like, that's it, bitch. Get on that ship. Get on that ship.
He was
But
bleeding tough. He
he
was
was
bleeding.
bleeding hard. He was like, But I like this version better of that scene because first and foremost, they actually named who was fighting Darkseid. Like the first time we had to guess like who the person throwing electricity was. Like obviously we thought it was Zeus, but then it
I
was
mean,
like, oh, it's
clearly.
like
Yeah.
we thought it was Zeus, but it was like, oh, they were like no mention. Like sort of like, oh, Shazam type guy. Like so like for us to actually get the names of the people who were actually fighting him, we got Artemis, Zeus, Ares. Like, oh, we get names. So I
Yeah.
thought that we actually got to know who the warriors fighting Darkseid the first
Yeah.
time, and why it makes sense when the Justice League eventually fights him.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. I love the scene setting up the whole the what's the life equation? What's that called?
Oh, the
Yeah.
Anti-life.
anti-life equation.
Yes, because that's one of my favorite storylines in the comic books. So
Uh-huh.
for that, like, kind of set in that scene, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I love that it set up two things, showing
Uh-huh.
what's going to happen towards the kind of foreshadowing, and then also alluding to that there's a secondary reason to why Darkseid's here.
Yeah. And Sanjay, for you, man, I mean, Darkseid again wasn't in that first one. And also Steppenwolf actually looked a lot better. We actually knew why he was doing what he was doing. What was your thoughts on those two bad guys there, man?
It again added more to the story that we didn't have before, and gave reasoning behind what was going on.
Hmm.
So it wasn't just from the first one where Steppenwolf was just kind of like a toy soldier kind of thing, where he just goes where he goes and does what he does and does what he's told.
Yeah.
In this one, he actually has his own purpose, that he's trying to get back in the good graces with Darkseid as well. And then with Darkseid there, like, you can see, like, all right, this is not something that is existential or something that's just like esoteric or out there, that he's there and he's about to come and wreck shop, and this is an
Hmm.
imminent danger. So it just added more and
Yeah.
made it better.
Yeah, man. Now, Al, man, we saw the ending to this, and there's a lot of like loose threads there for us to catch on to, and they're saying that they're not. This is a standalone. My ass, a
Yeah.
standalone. You wouldn't have spent $70 million on this damn thing if it's a standalone.
Yeah.
But if you do get a continuation of this story, it looks like Darkseid and his minions are ready to come in. Brandon said the anti-life equation is coming in. Is there anything you're looking forward to if they do a second one?
Yeah, explaining why Lois Lane had a pregnancy test in her drawer. Explaining why then,
Oh,
after he already gets the farm back, Bruce Wayne feels the need to say, "Oh, and congratulations, by the way." So, like, are we really going to do Superman and Lois as parents in Justice League 2 or
yeah.
Man of Steel 2 if we finally get that? Like, so that, because we're already pursuing that or seeing that play out in Superman and Lois on the WB show. So it's not new ground, but it'll be the first time seeing it on the big screen like this. So I want to see that storyline play out, and in a serious way, not because I like the way they're doing it on the show. They're not being, I mean, there's comedy there, but they're being
Right.
realistic with the family dynamic. So I would like to see that play out and brought out, as opposed to just little Easter eggs here and there. And to your point,
Mhm.
you're not spending all this money if you're not gonna potentially pursue it. That
Mhm.
whole, oh, this was a one-off, I think was like them hedging if the movie didn't do well.
Yeah.
But from all reports that I'm hearing, is doing very well. So I can't see them
Mhm.
not pursuing some of this. But yeah, that Superman story and which way they're going. And please bring Cavill back if you're going to do that storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. Sanj, I mean, what's your thoughts? Sanj, you're a very realist person, man. And, with the amount of money that they spent on this, just to bring it out for us to see, 4 hours long, $70 million, and maybe even more spent just to update the graphics and finish off the story that he left off. They're saying that this is it. This is a standalone. I mean, what's your thoughts on them changing their mind after they see all the positive reviews and all the love that they're getting from the fans?
They'll probably want to change their mind after they see all the positive reviews and the response from fans. However, there's a problem. Zack Snyder already gave away the whole story. We know what the whole story, like, what we know, his whole plan. He made public what his plan for these movies were.
It's in a
So
museum. It's in a
exactly,
museum.
yeah, it's in the museum. We know the whole story, right? That's the problem. We know that Lois is pregnant. We know that they're going to have a child. We know that Superman does turn evil, and what they're doing is that,
I didn't
um,
notice.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is this is this is not spoilers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This has been out for a while, so this is not spoilers. And what them coming back in the past, like with Flash coming back in. So when you saw in the nightmare scenes, with the suit that Flash has on, that's his time travel suit. And if
Mhm.
you and that's the one he was wearing when he approached Bruce Wayne in Batman versus Superman. When you see him in that scene,
Right.
there, and saying like Lois is the key, and even in there we get the story. Joker rats him out, says, "Look, you let her die," and we know who the her is. The her is Lois, and the kid, and that's what sends Superman, over the edge. So now what ends up happening is that they do the whole time travel thing because they're establishing Flash has time travel abilities, right? So they all go back and then we see the apocalyptic Earth. So we know Darkseid is taken over with Superman's help. So what they're doing is they're going to go back in the past, save Lois, and then it's the line also that Joker says to Batman, and how many alternate realities does this happen because you don't have the guts to sacrifice yourself? So we know that Batman's going to sacrifice himself, and he dies, and then Lois and Clark's son becomes Batman. Like that whole story, yeah. And his name is they even name him Bruce Kent. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't. So the fact that all of this was setting that up, I don't know how they go and make those movies when we know everything that's going to happen anyway. So that's like what's pissing me off right now.
All right, well, Saj, we'll let you get a little breather there, man. And Brandon, how about yourself, man? With that ending that they gave us with the nightmare scene, and I got to be real with you guys, those nightmare scenes are not any of my favorites. In the Batman versus Superman movie, in Justice League, I just don't really get the nightmare thing and why they keep jumping to it. I guess, like you guys said, it's foreshadowing for these stories down the road. But to me, it's just like, again, Batman with a trench coat is just like so stupid, to me. But
hey, it gets very dusty and sandy. It's got to keep that out of the bat suit, man.
And why has he still got his mask on?
That's what I want to know too, because at that point, everybody knows that he's Bruce Wayne, right?
He's like, shut up, Bruce. What are you talking about? I'm Batman.
My first name's Bat. My last name is Man. Batman.
Batman Wayne. Shut up. We're distant cousins.
He lends me money.
He's rich. Get over it.
I did like how they left in the line about Bruce Wayne being rich. Like when Flash asked him, "Well, so what's your superpower?" "I'm rich." I like that they left that one.
I completely agree with Sanjay in the fact that we've known since 2016 where this story was supposed to go and how it was supposed to end. Got me thinking, like, maybe that is it. They just wanted to make sure that this was put out there, done his way, showed you what could have been, and kind of leave it at that.
That sucks.
But then, the fan in me wants to say, well, you know what? You just did a 4-hour thing. You put it on HBO Max. Hopefully, you got to surprise me where you just, even though we know the story, maybe you can change it a little bit because I kind of hate that ending. Maybe you can, change the story to make another 4-hour movie and end it right there. Make it a 2-parter. Forget the 3 movies. Let's go for the 2 and just for a full vision is done right here. Maybe that'll be a surprise that'll be out in 3 years from now, 4 years. But I would love to actually see resolution to a story. It's like when you get those movies that are based off of books and the movie sucks so bad that you're like, there's 4 other books, but you want to see resolution because you don't want to have a story half finished. You want to see the full story, whether it's a book or a movie or a television show. So for this, even though I know the ending, how it's supposed to end, I still want to see it.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in seeing more, man. So, I'm hoping they work out something there where they do like a Justice League 2 or a continuation. They do a Justice League 2. Yeah, man. Great stuff, man. Just really good stuff. So listen, guys, if you're listening on the podcast there, if you guys haven't got a chance to check out the Snyder's Cut version of Justice League, you really should give it a shot. It is 4 hours long, but it's worth it. It's a really good movie, man. It's well done, well paced, just overall good. And before we jump into the next review we're going to do, which is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I wanted to ask you fellas just one question really quick. If you guys had the opportunity to choose between just a regular 2.5-hour movie or a 4-hour movie that gives you all this information, backstories, what's more realistic for you guys? Like, are you willing to sit in theaters for 4-hour long movies, or is it, they just got to make it work with the 2.5 or less? Let's go Al first, man. What's your thoughts on that, man?
if it's a 4-hour like full, I don't know if I can do it in a theater. I can do it at home because we all could pause it, but I don't know about a theater.
Yeah.
They would have to do like a lot of cuts. Then again, in this movie, there's a lot of drug out scenes. Like, for example, when Aquaman comes and he goes back into the water, do we really need a 5-minute video of that woman singing to the water? Like, I think they could have cut that out.
It was good, Al. It was good, Al. Stop that.
She's in the Hasselbeck song.
The Icelandic women worked very hard on singing those harmonies, okay? Those are beautiful.
Like,
Stop
the
it,
first
Al.
5 seconds, yeah. Then cut away. Like, we didn't need a 5-minute video. But
Wait.
That's his theme song, Al. That's Aquaman's theme song. You stop
yeah,
it.
she smelled the shirt like 15 times. Like,
That was so creepy. That was so fucking creepy.
That was the Midsummer tie-in. That was the Midsummer right there. Those are beautiful harmonies, Al.
yeah. So if they can cut some of that stuff down, maybe bring it down to 3. Maybe I could do a 3-hour movie at the theater, especially if it's good like this and characters and storylines that we really want to see like this. I might be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Sanj, man? 2.5 versus a 4-hour movie, man. If you know you're gonna get this.
I say the max a movie should be in the theater is 3 hours. Right? If you're gonna go beyond 3 hours, then you got to go do what they did with Infinity War and Endgame. Split it into 2 movies. Even though that was like 2 3-hour movies, but that's a whole nother thing. You can definitely split it up into a couple of movies and get more bang. Get double the box office for the same movie. But I think generally the most you could sit in a theater is like 3 hours without a break.
Gotcha. How about you, B? Willing to last 4 hours in the theater, man, if it's gonna get a good story like this?
The truth is it's a hard sell, because the good thing about this, like you guys are saying, and like the best thing about watching WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier is that you have the ability to watch these long time things in the comfort of your home. You can take a break, you can eat something, you can order, you can go to the bathroom. It's a hard sell for movie theater, but I believe if the appeal is there, like they really hype up the appeal of a movie and it's proven, like if they were going to tell you guys tomorrow that Avengers 5 is coming out and it's 4 hours, would you not go see it?
Yes.
Right? Like we would go see it. Like I think
we're going to go see it.
The appeal is there, but like would you go see 4 hours of Wonder Woman? Considering what you saw last. Like Al just shook his head. He was like, nah, man, not after what I just saw. But I think to be honest,
I don't know that you could have like 4 hours of Wonder Woman.
Oh.
You did that same shit an hour ago. But I think if the appeal is there and it's the trailers and the everything has really hyped up this movie to the thing where I have to see this, and they say it's 4 hours, if they can make it work, then I would say, I would go see it. But I think the appeal has to be on its maximum level. Like they have to do a really good job in selling the movie.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I'm with Al and Sanj on this one, man. I think the most a theater should be in the theater movie should be only 2.5 to 3 hours long. A 4-hour epic like that, man, you got to be able to pause and come back to, man. So that's my fear with any movie that does that. 4 hours long is like, Jesus, man, that's an investment of time right there. But it was so worth it.
There was definitely a way that could have been it could have been a 3-hour movie and did everything that it would, like you guys were saying. The scene where 5 minutes of singing and like another 4 minutes of him walking in slow motion into the water. To some there was some room to cut it down. There's definitely some room to cut it down.
Aquaman did a little peek to make sure they were singing or not. He was, yeah, take a little peek out of the water real quick. Damn, look at those harmonies. Listen to those harmonies. All right, I disappear.
Awesome, man. So listen, man, that's our review for DC's Snyder's Cut Justice League there. What was your thoughts, man? You guys out there watching and listening. What did you think of it? I mean, we thought it was amazing. We thought it was pretty damn good. One of the best movies so far this year for 2021, because there hasn't been too many good movies out there, but definitely up there. But listen, type it below in the comment section, or if you're listening on the podcast, email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on DC's Snyder's Cut of the Justice League. Amazing stuff, man. And then finally, we're going to talk about today is the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm going to call it Two Broke Guys.
Yo, shout out. We owe a huge apology to Elizabeth Olsen playing Wanda Maximoff because we didn't know. We didn't know
that y'all not getting paid to save our lives.
Yeah, I just laughed because when they did that scene, I remembered when we had the whole conversation of where did they get their money from?
Dude,
we were ragging on Wanda for driving the Elantra, man. Put the key in the ignition and not the push to start.
Tony not paying them.
Tony is not paying them, dude.
Yeah, they got that New York unemployment just like us.
How you on unemployment and finding Thanos? Like
he accepted handouts.
Yeah, they called out, yo, Falcon, we need you to come down to battle. Yo, I ran out of gas. Like, I ain't getting paid till next week.
Yo, if somebody want to Venmo me a little money, so I can get this.
Get some
I
goodwill.
tried to fill up my tank, but Venmo takes $5.
This is terrible, man. All right, let's. So
you would think that like Tony, with all the money that he has, like he's a freaking multi-billionaire. Okay, so set aside $1 billion for the team that they can everybody gets a stipend, or something,
Tony's like, did I not feed you?
There's only like 6-7 people on the team. Like he could hit everybody off with $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And so they could just stay afloat.
Dude.
I was just
not only that, yo,
that Elantra. How you leasing it?
When they saved New York, he should have sent them a bill. Like yo, you want us to go save New York? That's gonna be a big check. You got it?
Coming out of my taxes this year.
No, then New York wouldn't have got saved because De Blasio and Cuomo would have been fighting over who's gonna pay the bill.
Yo, dude, now we know why Hulk is always mad. Oh, dude, you're hungry, dude. Oh man, so listen, if you're not, we're gonna spoil this because there's no way to talk about this one episode without talking about everything that happened.
Oh my God.
So let's get right into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm gonna tell you first that I thought that it was really good. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was a really good episode, and the reason why I thought it was a really good episode is we got to see the real characters, right? Not Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We saw Bucky and oh my God, Sam Wilson. We saw their real life and what they're going through, man. And it's kind of crazy, man. I mean, you have Bucky there regretting his past, trying to make amends for it. And then you have Sam just trying to get back to normal, back to his normal life. But it's tough, man. So I mean, but let's start off with that
he
first.
Was one of the guys. He was one of the guys that got dusted. So not only is he trying to just get back to normal life, he's trying to like reacclimate to being there like 5 years later. So he's got a gap of like 5 years. Everybody else has moved on. So that's rough.
Yeah, man, definitely is, man. But let's get right into that first scene, man, where we get into how the soldier starts, which is, I think it's showing that Sam didn't really want the shield. You hear in the background the conversation he had with Cap at the end of Endgame there regarding, the shield looks like it belongs to somebody else. You know what I mean? And you see him wanting to give away the shield, or actually he's just like putting it away at the moment. We don't know what he's doing with it. Before we talk about the action sequence before the trip to Washington, let's talk about him not wanting to hold on to the mantle there, and if you guys kind of get what he's coming from or what he's doing there. So like, B, what's your thoughts on Sam, pretty much giving up the shield for the museum to hold on to it, for them to show basically, Captain America is this like symbol of all symbols there.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said it, like it's a big title. It's a big mantra. It's a big symbol. and to to have known the guy, to have been in his presence, and then to be told, "Hey, man, like I want you to be me." That's a lot to take on
Yeah.
as someone like, and knowing Sam and kind of like his persona as I guess maybe he thought he was the sidekick. Like he maybe didn't see like he was ready for that. Like he couldn't be what Steve Rogers was to the planet Earth. Like that's a lot. That's a big shoe to fill. So I
Hmm.
could see like the unworthiness that he felt in having that shield and being told like I want you. Like if Captain America gave me that shield, I'd be like, nah, man. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. Like, back
Yeah, yeah. I
up,
got
Steve.
you. And then, Al, we have, Rhodey's in this. Rhodey comes
Yeah.
in, War Machine comes in, and he's at the meeting. And you could kind of see that he sees Sam's not going to take the shield. He almost looks down and he's like, kind of feels the words that he's saying is leading up to the fact that he's going to give up the shield. And he tries to talk to Sam on the side there to kind of figure out, hey, man, why are you not taking up the mantle there?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the conversation between, Sam and Rhodey? And also, like, your thoughts on him not taking up the mantle?
Um, it's weird because I don't know whether it's that like where he feels he can't fill the shoes, or if it's just out of respect for his friend.
Mm.
Because sometimes there's, people, and I don't know which way they're going to take it with the character, so I want to see how they do it. Some people feel like I can't do that role, or I'm not like I don't want to. It's an insult if they try to do what the other person was doing and replace them.
Hmm.
So I hope they make it so that he realizes he's not replacing Steve, he's just filling in the role. So because he's capable of doing it, so I don't see why he wouldn't want to do it, other than the fact that maybe as of right now he feels like he's disrespecting his friend if he comes in and says, "Oh, I can replace him."
Hmm.
And so maybe that's the dilemma he's facing or dealing with, that he doesn't want to replace a friend. But I feel like he was almost talked out of it, because like when he gives the shield, the guy tells him, "Oh, you're making the right decision."
Yeah.
Why? You know what I'm saying? So like was he talked into it? Was he made to feel like he had to do that or should do that?
But yeah, it was like somebody in his ear or something like that.
Yeah. So, like playing on his insecurities or playing on his loyalties to Steve. So that's one of the things I want to see out and what makes him change his mind, because I think eventually he does take on the mantle. So just see what was that dilemma he was dealing with and how he overcomes it.
Yeah. Now, how about you, Sons? What's your thoughts on the whole thing of him taking on that mantle of Steve Rogers there, or not Steve Rogers, of the title Captain America?
I mean, him not taking the shield doesn't make no damn sense to me, because the shield is made out of vibranium. Like after everything they went through and like dealt with and what he saw and the threats that he saw that are out there, right? It's not just terrorists. It's not just threats on Earth. Like there's real like supernatural threats out there, and you have this tool that's been given to you that gives you a whole nother power. Like you don't have the super serum. You're not a super soldier. You're not, you don't have Tony's suit. You're not the Hulk. You're not any of these things. You're just an ordinary guy. You're basically Batman, and you except you ain't rich.
Yeah.
Right? And you have this tool. You see the first sequence there, he's dodging all these bullets and rockets being thrown. You're telling them that of having a vibranium shield doesn't help? To me, it's just a practical thing. Like the shield is a practical tool to use to continue a job that he's doing anyway. He just doesn't want to be called Captain America. Okay, make it clear that you're not Captain America, but you have Captain America's shield. You're doing the job. It's not like you retired and you're gonna sit at home and that's why you don't want it. If that were the case, yeah, I could understand not keeping the shield. But you're doing this. You're doing the job. Take the
Absolutely, man. And Science, man, you just talked about the scene, the action scene. I mean, I think for a TV show, man, the first of all, the VFX on there and the craziness of the shots of him is flying in the sky. What'd you think of him in the sky there with the other guys going on and seeing Batroc the Leaper again? What was your thoughts on that action sequence, man?
Oh, I thought it was great, if not a little long, but
Yeah,
it's
a little long.
still a great sequence because it looked so real. It didn't look like it was a lot of video effects. And then not only him in the scene, the other guys in the jumpsuits, how they're synchronized flying and how they were able to just fly up, in their parachute suits and like go right into the
Helicopter
helicopter.
there.
Yeah, all of that stuff was incredible, and like all the special effects and what do you call stunts that they did in that scene really made that scene.
Yeah, man. B, what'd you think of the wingsuits, man?
Oh, it was awesome. I thought it was like a really thought out scene that was very well developed. George St. Pierre, welcome back. Very happy you're back as Batroc. I was not expecting that. Super cool. But I do agree that I thought the scene was a little long. Once they started adding in the helicopters and stuff, I'm like, all right, just get to the one helicopter. Come on. But I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a good way to show that he means business as Falcon. He's not the
Yeah.
side character. He's not who you think he is. He's taking the lead now.
Yeah, man. Al, man, that action sequence, you saw him use the suit in many different ways. He used it as a shield. He was kicking ass as well. Let's not front.
Okay,
He was
yeah,
kicking ass
yeah.
with the plane. But he was doing a lot of stuff out there, man. I mean, he was moving those wings all over the place flying. What was your thoughts on that action sequence?
No, just the fact that they showed his growth, because I think we've commented on this before. Like, he wasn't a big part of the movies in the past. So now that he gets to be in the forefront, I'm glad that it's showing us what he is able to do, with the wings and without. Because
Mhm.
you take away the wings, he was still handling himself, and he was still showing what he is capable of doing. So no, I like the fact that it brought him to the forefront and made you realize, oh shit, Falcon could do some business. So
Yeah.
I like that about it. It made me glad that this is how they're opening the series.
Yeah.
Granted, I know they're isolating them so that we can build upon them separately, as opposed to, oh, we're just putting them together and now all is them together. So I like the fact that they're showing us both of their strengths on their own. Well,
Yeah.
it's definitely Falcon. We already know what Winter Soldier is able to do, but the fact that now they've fleshed out Falcon's abilities and what he's capable of doing
Yeah.
on his own, I like that.
Yeah, man. And speaking of the Falcon there, I mean Bucky, Brandon, we get to see vintage Winter Soldier on one of his missions.
Yeah.
Brutal. Brutal, dude.
Yeah.
When that hand came through that wall, Brandon.
I thought I was looking at Zemo again, as kind of cloning himself as the Winter Soldier again. So I was confused, and because I saw the red star, and I'm like, and when Bucky woke up, I said, "Yo, that was lethal. That was badass." I'm like, I hope he didn't just do that.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's Sanj, man. I mean, what's your thoughts on Bucky? Like, you see him in the counseling session there, doesn't want to open up, doesn't want to admit that he just had a nightmare, and he's going through the motions there with the psychologist, and she brings out her notebook. He's like, oh, that's a little passive aggressive, But, we know and we see what's going on in his mind is that he's pretty much just trying to make up for the mistakes that he's made, even though he wasn't in control of himself, but he's trying to make back up for the mistakes he made. And you can see it in what he's doing also through the show. What was your thoughts on Bucky, man?
I like that they're taking some time to go into his psyche. We know what his abilities are already. Like we've seen a lot of his abilities as the Winter Soldier, so we don't need to see those on display. We already know that. But him coming back to being Bucky, and now dealing with the trauma of everything that he's done, because he still has all of the memories, and then focusing in on this one guy who he killed his son, and he's trying to make right and find some way to be a human being again. I really like that they're focusing, bringing him along that way, as opposed to what they did with Falcon, like really showing him in action, like what Falcon can really do. Like that, from Falcon we need to know what can the Falcon actually really do without the support of everybody else. Like like when James Harden went to Houston, like let's see what you can do when you're the top dog. Now we saw what he could do. Now we're seeing
top dog.
top dog, right? And we're seeing what Falcon can do, and we're like very impressed by what he can do. So I'm very glad that with Bucky, they're taking the more cerebral route with him.
Now, Sanj, I want to ask you on your first. I don't know how many times you saw it. I saw it twice.
Twice
But on
already,
the first, yeah, the first time I watched it there, when he was with the older guy there in the restaurant there, I didn't know what the angle was. Did you see that coming? That old guy was the son, or I'm sorry, the father of that son that Winter Soldier killed, as just like a pawn that was in the way, kind of thing.
Not at first, but when the guy started talking about his son, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I see where they're going with this.
Yo,
Yeah.
dude, that when I saw the picture in the background when he opened the door,
Yeah.
that hit me. I was like, oh, wow, man, wow,
Yeah.
man. Al, man, how about you, man? What was your thoughts on that whole Bucky thing, like his whole character and everything he went through in the episode there?
Yeah, no, same like just like what Sandra was saying. Like I like that they didn't like have him on a mission because we already know what he can do. So I like that they were showing that he's dealing with the fallout of being brought back to normal. Because we found, we already saw that they've in Wakanda he was able to deal with all that brainwash and move past that. So now, how do you reestablish a life when you're 100 and something years old, and all you've known for the majority of it is war? So
Yeah.
now he's back. And so, I mean, he didn't even know how to ask a woman out. He didn't know what to do on the date. So just watching him stumble through what a lot of us just take as,
It's
take for granted.
excruciating.
Yeah. And, I mean, they were playing, what were they playing? Battleship on
Yeah.
a date and so forth. And just watching him go through that was, it was not amusing. It was, I just don't have a better word, but it was definitely
Intriguing,
interesting
maybe?
yeah, just to watch what somebody like a fish out of water would do. I mean, he knows the old ways of being with interacting and being and doing things. So to watch him now have to try to adapt to the way we do it now, it was so funny listening to him talk about the apps and okay, it was crazy. So whereas we're in the beginning we wanted to see what Falcon was able to do, here we just want to see what is Winter Soldier going through. So that's what I'm saying. I like that balance of how they're bringing both of them to where they are now.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely,
It
man.
made a lot more sense that Bucky wouldn't want to be involved in any sort of like mission or just want to be left alone. And even like when he was in Wakanda, it was easier for him to deal with because Wakanda itself was shielded off from the rest of the world. It was like a metaphor for what he himself wanted to do. He just wanted to be left alone, not even part of the world. And Wakanda at that time wasn't really part of the world. And even in Wakanda, he was kind of like he was just left alone there as well. He had his own space and everything, and they kind of just left him alone.
Right? He said that was the one time he had peace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. And then just to get back to Sam there, we get a little bit of his life and you see that he has a family out in Louisiana. They have a boat that's part of the family, a house that's part of the family also that's been passed down. And just having a rough time. I know we made jokes about it before because we definitely shitted on Wanda and Vision
For
like
being
he
poor.
only because Vision only bought a plot, not a house. Like Wanda drove an Elantra. But we see that it's some real stuff there. I mean, I guess it's something that we never think about because it's not like we're supposed to think about it. We assume that they're making money or they got money because they're doing all this
I
stuff.
assume
But
Tony was taking care of everybody. Like that. This
right?
is this is very troubling that he's not. That he didn't. And then Pepper too. Like you figure she of all people would like So it looks like she's the one that's tight on the purse strings.
Dude.
Someone call HR.
Phase 4, LinkedIn. They all got to get jobs, dude. It's gonna be crazy.
They're all signing up for Justice League instead. They're like, fuck the Avengers, we're gonna join the Justice League. Bruce Wayne at least pays.
For real, man. That's pretty bad, man. But we saw, what Sam was going through trying to get a loan, and I think it was more at play there for us as the watchers that there's just symbolism to what's going on in real life sometimes with certain people getting the loans and certain people not getting the loans, and the way that things are happening. Like, you see this loan officer pretty much like being real with it, because you think about it, if you are like, most of us here have worked in bank. I think all four of us have worked in banks.
Oh,
If
wow.
the person, yeah, I think that it kind of makes sense. If you don't have a history of income for 5 years, it's kind of hard to give a person a loan. But here's this guy in front of you who's put his life on the line to save the world. And he can't get a loan, dude. That
And
kind of
on top of that,
sucks.
they know that he dusted, so they know that he just wasn't there. Like I wasn't physically here. Like, there
Yeah.
should be some accommodation made for the people who like were dusted.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, man. And when you put yourself in his shoes and stuff like that, it's gotta suck. You know what I mean? Because you're doing everything you can to be the most outstanding person, and you're doing all this stuff to save the world and be a hero, and nothing's coming of it financially.
But,
It's just
but yeah,
terrible.
to that point, the military's not paying them
The
because
military don't pay now.
how is a military mission? No.
Yeah, well, he's saying he's getting government contracts, but he had no show of income for the last 5 years. It's just it's crazy, man. No fund, nothing set up for Sam. Just, Tony was around. He didn't dust.
Yeah.
Tony
That's
was
why
like,
Tony ran to the woods. That's why he ran to the woods.
Tony was like, "Ooh, we're gonna save revenue on salary with all these people that."
Yeah, I guess the only assumption I can make is when these people dusted, they're not us, so they didn't know that they were going to come back in the next episode.
Thanos
5
dusted
years
their
later.
accounts as well. He thought of everything.
You ain't get no interest in those 5 years? No interest in those 5 years? No, man. You didn't put your money in a CD?
Oh my God. I'm a horrible human being for saying all this.
Oh,
I am
man.
a horrible human being.
So listen, let's talk about the villains of this thing. Well, there was no what's his name? Zemo in this one. But we did get our introduction to the Flag Smashers. And we saw a heist that was kind of cool. They kind of set up everybody to show up at one spot, and then everybody ran away wearing the mask. It was kind of cool.
They stole that straight from V for Vendetta, though.
Yeah.
Straight from V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
But nothing really major with the villains. I mean, Brandon, what was your thoughts on the Flag Smashers there in that scene? Nothing really crazy. Just
I mean, I kind of felt like that lead guy was Zemo. I don't know. I feel like that was Zemo with like a wig. Like just cause like when they zoomed in on his face a little bit, it kind of seemed like Zemo. So I was like, oh, he's got superpowers now. Like he's got some super soldier serum in him. That's what it kind of seemed to me. But I want to see where they go with this, because I get the concept. These people who are unhappy with it was the people who came back right after 5 years, or that's just how the governments of all the countries have handled all of it, and they're just not happy with it. Like, I think the concept is interesting given the state of the world at the time, in the MCU. So I'm interested to see where they're going with this. Like, I understand they're mad for this reason, and I want to see what are they going to do with this being mad.
Yeah.
Are they just gonna be robbing shit? Like,
Gotcha. Al, what'd you think of the introduction to the Flag Smashers there?
Well, not having known anything about them, it made me want to see, well, what was their goals and why was this guy capable of doing what he was able to? So is it, somebody with a super soldier serum in them? How many of them are going to have those abilities?
Right.
So it just made it an interesting dynamic for the rest of the series to see what's going on. How many of them are there? Because at first I was like, all right, is it just one guy and it's really a political agenda and they're just hiding behind having these motives and then using these people to come out and be a distraction for what they're really looking to do, so because that was exactly what he did. He came out, he robbed or whatever, and then, had everybody wearing masks so that he can blend into the crowd.
Yeah.
So it's just to see what is their real motives in terms of their organization.
All right, man. And then Sanj, man, I'll let you get first dib on Sucker Steve. we get the moment of the show where I went, oh, because you could see the pain on Sam's face when this happens, man. So Sanj, why don't you take me away to this conference that's being held on television, and they give away the shield, bro.
See that's what made me feel like you're stupid. Like I wanted to be said. See, Sam, you stupid.
They gave it to a white guy.
I wasn't gonna go there this time.
This time.
I was not gonna go there this time. But it did not get lost on me that the black dude gave up the shield and they gave it right back to a white dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
even under the mask, like the most like wholesome dude they could probably find. You know what I'm saying?
Sucker Steve.
No, Sucker Steve. Yeah, and then so now he's realizing I shouldn't have gave up. I shouldn't have gave up the shield. Like they turned around because the idea was that okay, in his mind there shouldn't be another Captain America. And then like, oh, the new Captain America.
Yeah.
You know. So now he's positioned. Now he's going to be the threat because he's going to be, you know, coming back for the shield or wanting it back or whatever. And they're going to paint him as the villain, you know, trying to get it back or whatever. Or this Captain America is going to have some sort of agenda, and they're going to be like more of like a corporate type that follows orders of the military and whatnot, and doesn't really think for himself. And you know that you could see all of that, all of that conflict being set up, and I'm just like, this is an old trope. Like, can we do? I would really like to see something new instead. Even with the flag smashers, going back to the terrorist trope.
Yeah.
You know, it's been done ad nauseum. Like, let's get something new.
Gotcha, man. Al, man, what's about you, man? What's your thoughts on the fake Steve there?
It's weird because I thought he was going to be U.S. agent, but they're calling him the new Captain America.
Captain America, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm just curious if then do they still make him like an adversary to Sam? Because when then Sam says, no, I'll take on the Captain America, is that then he transitions to U.S. agent then? Or like, and he didn't even look intimidating. Like, that's the new Captain America? Like, he didn't look, like it looked like they just grabbed you. Okay, come here.
They grabbed Opie, son.
Yeah, because the suit looked baggy on him. It wasn't form fitting. Like he had some.
He did not have Steve Rogers' ass.
Yeah,
they got that Party City Captain America.
Party City Captain America.
Not even Party City. They got that wish app Captain America. That's what they got.
Yeah, it looked like he was wearing his Big Brother's costume.
We need this on a rush. We gotta overnight this one.
Oh man,
Taylor's taking too long.
You get this a large? I said a medium.
I know.
We want
He's like,
abs.
That dude is extra medium though. Like,
And Brandon, man, that face of his smiling with the helmet on. So ridiculous, man. I love it.
Yeah, I actually just saw a meme earlier, where they put a picture of side by side of Chris Evans' cap and this new guy, and it was like Chris Evans' cap was New York bagels, and the other guy was the other 48 states.
New York.
I mean, it's facts.
Ain't wrong.
It's facts.
Ain't wrong.
All right, man. So, fellas, let's go around the table real quick and what's your thoughts, man? Overall, man, Brandon, you were impressed with Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I was impressed. You know, I can't wait to see what happens next. I want to see what they do with this guy Joaquin Torres, right? That's the army guy, because he takes over as Falcon in the comics. So I want to see where they go with him in this story. So I'm excited to see what happens.
All right, Sanj, man, yourself, man, thoughts overall?
I'm gonna let it play out because I remember even thinking the first couple episodes of WandaVision were moving kind of slow and we weren't really getting anything out of it. But again, they put together a really good story and it was awesome in the end. So as much as there's things I didn't like about, the first episode there, I'm waiting to see what they do with it because they usually do something good.
Absolutely, man. How about you, man?
Yeah, same thing. Just waiting to see where they go. If WandaVision taught me anything, it's not to come up with any theories and just let the episodes play out.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
hit play on Fridays. Just hit play on Friday.
Play on
Hit
Friday,
play on
yeah.
Fridays.
Yeah. I
3
was
a.m.
not
3 a.m. on Friday morning. Yep. Hit play.
yeah, man. I'm not like, is Captain America gonna show up? Nope. I'm not even counting on it, dude. Not even counting on that. Not even gonna talk myself into that one. But absolutely, man. Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. Not great, but good episode. And I'm looking forward to that number 2 episode next Friday, man. But overall, man, listen, that was a good week for us, man. We got to watch Snyder's Cut and Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out. Some other good movies coming out this week and next week. So hopefully we'll talk about some of the movies we saw. Plus, we'll give you a review of the episode 2 of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So again, guys, coming out of Long Island, New York, we're saying thank you for watching. Please subscribe below. Hit the plus symbol on your podcasting app to get us there every week. And coming from us over here in Long Island, we got my man Sanj.
Stay safe, everybody.
We got my brother B.
Adios.
My man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yes, and myself, Hob, saying thank you as always. Please come back, join, subscribe, comment, email, do whatever you want to do. We're going to talk to you back. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next episode. Till next time.